The Queen is just one day away from the start of a worldwide celebration in her honor, 60 years on the throne. But before the year-long party starts, she spent a quiet, snowy Sunday attending church with Prince Philip. And afterwards, she met with some people who had waited in the freezing cold just to get a glimpse of her. That was at her private estate, Sandringham, in eastern England. Meanwhile, in southern England, at Windsor Castle, a special Diamond Jubilee exhibit. A look at the Queen as you don't usually see her. The CBC's Anne McMillan has that story.
At the Queen's favourite castle, final touches are made to the Jubilee show of royal photographs. This one taken in 2010 in Nova Scotia. There are 60 in all. One for each year of her reign. Curator Lisa Highway says they reflect what the Queen's all about.
The main thing that comes through is her sheer humanity. We see her as a grandmother, we see her relating to her people, we see her as a head of state. And in all these images, she's very much a human person, you know, not just a monarch.
60 years ago, the subject of these photos was 25 years old with 2 small children. She and her husband, Prince Philip, were in Kenya en route to a royal visit to New Zealand and Australia. Informed about her father's death on February 6, 1952, the woman who went to Africa a princess returned to Britain a queen. Following tradition, the coronation was held the year after the King's death. The young Queen Elizabeth looked uncertain.
This girl at the coronation, ascending the throne in her white dress, looking absolutely destructible, that you just think, oh, what's going to happen? And nobody could have predicted all the, you know, the Cold War, the ending of the Empire, the transition to the Commonwealth, all of the family ups and downs that she's gone through and survived.
A Jubilee cartoon show illustrates highs and lows of the Queen's reign. Here she cleans up the mess after another of her children divorce. But even satirists find it difficult to be mean about the Queen.
But they're making jokes with her, but not really directly about her.
Anita O'Brien is curator of London's Cartoon Museum.
It's affectionate in the sense that they are following her travels around the world and the other things like the Derby, watching horse racing, her love of corgis. So I think all of those elements are showing her almost as one of the family, but not quite.
Her ability to remain regal, a symbol of stability in a fast-changing world, makes the Queen stand out, says Lucy Worsley.
The current Queen is now up there with the top 2 or 3 most successful kings and queens ever in British history. She's up there with Elizabeth I and she's up there with Queen Victoria. I think what you always see in a really long reign is initial enthusiasm, yes, and then there may be ups and downs along the way. But then, as time goes on, people start respecting, admiring them simply for sticking around. And that's what's happening now. We're seeing a great swell of affection and respect.
That swell of affection is expected to crest in June. 4 days of Jubilee celebrations will pay tribute to a monarch who's made the throne her own for 60 years. Anne McMillan, CBC News, London.